Welcome, my name is Jeremy Jordan, and I want to welcome you to Two Minds Blog. A blog I created to explore what I call conscious-subconscious dynamics. I've spent the last 18 years of my life studying the human mind, and through a combination of my own experiences, research, and observations, I came up with a bunch of different theories on the human mind. And a few years ago, I took all those theories and I put them into a singular system. And from this system, I ended up developing a self-help life management system called Why You Can Life Management. And with working with people with Why You Can Life Management, I discovered a lot of people were interested in the theories behind the tools I was teaching them. So I created this blog to give people a place to go to explore more of the theories behind the tools. Now, if you're interested in the tools that came about from the information you find on this website, this blog, you can go to whyoucanlifemanagement.com. That's why, the letter U, can, lifemanagement.com. But today, right now, I want to give you an introduction to conscious-subconscious dynamics. That way, when you explore this blog, you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about or where I'm coming from. Now, the basic premise of conscious-subconscious dynamics, or CS dynamics for short, is that we have two minds. We have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. And they both utilize different information, process information differently, and have different objectives. And when you have these differences, these dynamics, chances are you're going to get conflict. And my belief is most issues people are dealing with in life are based on this conflict. So today I want to go over these differences between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Like I said, the two minds utilize different information. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we take everything in through our five senses. Sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell. The entire universe we experience comes through our five senses. And that information is relayed to the brain. And you'd be amazed how much information is actually being taken in. This information is first processed by the subconscious mind. It has to be, because the subconscious mind is much faster, as you'll soon discover. The subconscious mind, after it registers the information and it analyzes it using its system, it will package a small amount of this information and relay it to the conscious mind. And this is what our conscious awareness is. And then the conscious mind takes the information it's given and utilizes it. The problem is it's a very small amount of the total. Subconsciously, we're aware of everything going on. Consciously, very little of what's going on. So the two minds are using different information, and this can cause conflicts. I also said they process information differently. And that's true. I want to start with the subconscious mind. How does the subconscious mind process the incoming information? Well, it looks for three things. First, it looks for patterns. And all a pattern is A equals B. A happens, B's the result. Cause and effect. It's looking for patterns in life. Second thing it does is it looks for repeats of those patterns. Or in other words, consistency. The subconscious mind has a need for consistency. It's important to find these patterns because it makes decisions on these patterns. Because the third thing it does is it makes assumptions based on those consistent patterns that it finds. And those assumptions are what it uses to make very quick decisions. So let me give you an example of how all this works. Say you lived in an ancient tribe, and And a few weeks ago, a new berry bush was discovered right outside the track. And you're trying to decide whether you want to eat some of the berries. But 2 weeks ago, John ate some of the berries. And the next day he was found dead. Now the pattern there is he ate some of the berries, the A, and he was found dead, the B, the result, action result. A week ago, Bob ate some of the berries, and the next day he was found dead. Again, same pattern, same action result. So now we have a consistent pattern. From that consistent pattern, the subconscious mind makes an assumption. And in this case, the assumption is eating the berries leads to dying. So when we decide, oh, I think I'm going to eat some of the berries, the subconscious mind will step in and say, no, 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 no. That's bad. And you will get this gut feeling that it's not a good idea. And the reason you get a gut feeling, which I love that term, is because the subconscious mind does a lot of things. It in fact provides 80% of the processing of our mind. The conscious mind provides 20%, and most people don't want to believe that. Even myself, I had a hard time believing that. I was originally stuck on the 50-50 paradigm, where the subconscious mind did half the stuff and the conscious mind did the other half. And I believe I was stuck in this for years because I did a lot of research with left and right brain theories, which I no longer really follow, but in left and right brain theories, it's pretty much split 50-50. So I had this 50-50 paradigm stuck in my head. And it took me years before I got past it. And the more I looked into it, it seemed to fall into that old 80-20 rule. As odd as it sounds, the subconscious mind really does about 80% of the work, where the conscious mind does about 20%. And that might be hard for you to believe, but it is true. And one of the things it does is it controls our physical body. And if you don't believe me, I want you to do a little experiment. Take your arm and raise it slowly above your head. Now bring it down and pause it in front of you. And then slowly bring it back down to your side. Now you were consciously aware of that, obviously. You were technically consciously doing it, as I was telling you to do it. But here's the thing, were you really aware? Were you aware of all the muscles that were involved that caused your arm to raise and to stay raised? And when you slowly brought them down, the different muscles involved, and what muscles needed to be tightened to hold your arm there, and then to finally lower it. See, our conscious mind doesn't actually control our physical body. It's like a remote control car. When you're driving a remote control car around, you're technically controlling the car. But the reality is the car is doing all the work. In this case, you were technically consciously telling your arm to move, but the subconscious was doing all the work. In fact, hypnotists, if you have an interest in being hypnotized or the whole process, all a hypnotist does is it takes place of what the conscious mind normally does. Instead of the conscious mind giving the commands to the subconscious mind, the hypnotist gives the commands to the subconscious mind. It's quite an interesting phenomenon, and I probably will write a blog post on it to give you a little more detail. But understand that your physical body is completely controlled by your subconscious. The commands can be given by a conscious mind or a conscious thought, but they're carried out by the subconscious. And this is why learning new skills is so difficult. I recently took up golf, which I didn't think I'd ever do, but it's a really fun game. But learning to swing a golf club is very complicated, and you're trying to do it on a conscious level at first. And that makes it very choppy and disorganized, because you're giving all these commands to the subconscious mind, and it's trying to figure them all out. Eventually you'll get to the point where the subconscious mind just knows what to do. It develops the pattern, it figures out the pattern, and you're able to swing it subconsciously. You basically give the command, swing the golf club, and it does it for you. But when you're trying to do it on a conscious level, it's very haphazard. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, that your Subconscious controls your physical body.